Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we get to speak with Scott, co-founder of Sigea, decentralized blockchain data storage. And yeah, man, everybody, welcome. Hey, thank you so much for joining me, Scott. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I love that idea that I don't have to produce it. I like that I just sit out here and get interviewed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I see a fancy studio. Since the monitor is visible to everybody right there, why don't you tell us what we're looking at there on the monitor?
Oh, just a little side project that me and my producer are spinning up. It's Anshar After Dark. Think Lord of the Rings meets Harry Potter, and yeah, we're doing that to hook up with Midwest festivals. We're both big Renaissance festival geeks. That's how we touch grass. So yeah, they're interested in something that is neat, something that's immersive, something that's unique. So I was like, well, hell, we can make that. So yeah, here we are. And it's just a little map of the kingdom that I kind of whipped up and animated, and yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun as we carry on
I
with that.
safely assume it's a digital game.
No, it's a live action thing. If you go to YouTube and look up Anshar After Dark, Anshar After Dark, we're the only people, so you'll get a little taste. It's just videos, and then we'll be doing it live at the fairs. So
Gotcha.
yeah, got to touch
Did you
grass.
hear?
Had to do it.
Yeah, did you hear that the Renaissance Festival location out here in the Phoenix area burned down?
Did it? That was
Yeah,
a massive, massive festival.
huge.
Those guys were getting 30, 40,000 people a day through the gates, man. No, I didn't know that
Yeah,
it burned down.
yeah, it
That's
burned
too
down.
bad.
They had a huge fire within the last couple of months. Uh,
Yeah, I think me and Bell were out there last year, and we actually went to that. That's a great festival, by the way. That's a lot of fun, lot going on, very clean. Yeah, it's just an all around good festival.
right, do some axe throwing and walk around with a whole turkey leg that you're gnawing on.
No, I no, I actually I just like the atmosphere, man. You know, when I'm not in kit, that's what we call it, when we're not dressed up and we're just in there as patrons. It's a lot more fun because you don't have to act, you don't have to do anything. You can make somebody was out there reenacting Don Quixote. It took me forever to figure out what the hell this guy was doing because he had his armor was all beat to hell, and he was carrying like a broken lance, and he had a burrow that was stuffed burrow hanging off of his belt, and it took me forever to figure out who he was. But yeah, once I figured it out, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Don Quixote!" I went and gave him $20. That was that was fantastic, man. You never see that. You never see that kind of immersion, and it was a wonderful experience.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you came to co-found Sigia.
My background is pretty simple. When I was in, I'm a 26-year Navy vet, retired. When I was in my rate, I was enlisted. My rate was called cryptologic technician maintenance. So I'm very familiar with cryptography and securing information and all that other good stuff. And when I got out, electrical background, so I ended up going around for the last 25 years building data centers. That I did work for Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, you name it. I've odds are good that I've tread the pads there. So over my time doing that, I came to realize what they do with that data, and what they do with that data is shocking. I mean, you people really need to read the terms of service. But after that, started to figure out, there's got to be a better way, man. It's people have become so casual about turning over effectively all of their personal data.
Well, I
That's
think they say
medical.
right. If the service is free, you are the product. Isn't that
You
the
are the
saying?
product, yeah. Well, I mean, the real easy example, the data storage market is approximately $330 billion annually, and it is going up. It's going up by anywhere from 12 to 18% annually. But the data sales market is just shy of $1 trillion. So it is three times more profitable to get the data and sell it than it is just to hold it. So, it's obvious that this is going on. And, we're being in blockchain, you're looking at it simply saying, boy, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to actually allow people to self custody their data the same way they self custody their tokens. So Nobody was doing it. Jackal Protocol came along. It was a perfect platform for us to build on, and we built it. There it is.
So let me. So I saw something about Corium. Are you guys built on Corium or on Jackal?
We're actually not built on anybody. We're utilizing Jackal. Jackal is our storage layer. The same way that, are you familiar with Dropbox?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Dropbox doesn't have data centers. Dropbox uses Amazon Web Services
So
as
they're the
their
front.
storage layer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The storefront.
So, yeah, and it's great because then Dropbox can copy and monetize your data, and then Amazon gets to copy and monetize your data. So you get a twofer from these guys. You get double exposure every time you send up a pic. Yeah, so we're utilizing Jackal as our data storage layer. We're using a cache as our compute layer because we do have to intermediary the files. So we send them from your device to our servers over on a cache, and we have to use decentralized servers because we want every part of this to be Web3. And yeah, they goes from a cache, gets up landed on Jackal. Our storage element, our file servers are ephemeral. So as soon as we receive back from Jackal a chain ID, file ID for each and every picture, document, whatever is going up there, then it's removed from our file servers, and that's it. Doesn't exist anymore. As soon as it lands on Jackal, it's gone. The only person who can ever access that data is you, person who sent it up there. We can't see it. We can't manipulate it. If you accidentally delete something important, we can't get it back for you. This is self-custodied data. But
So with that being said, like how would you describe decentralized storage to someone who's using Google Drive or iCloud or Dropbox and how it's fundamentally different from traditional cloud storage?
well, as we are advertising and pitching into Web 2, you're never going to please Web 3. I've tried. I mean, for years I've been doing up marketing pitches, interviews, discussing it. You'll never make Web 3 happy. So we're not going after Web 3. We're going after Web 2. Web 2, I don't have to discuss the back end. That's really where it comes down to because as soon as we have to start getting into the minutia, I just lost a customer and we can't do that.
Yes,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, we can't. If I lose one customer, that I lose that customer plus everybody that customer might have told about it. So all we can do is present a very good product with a very sharp user interface, a good user experience, a competitive price point, and pack it in with features that Dropbox simply cannot do. We're going to be a direct competitor to them, and yeah, that's it. So let them try to keep up. They'll never match our speed, so I'm
Well,
fine.
then if you're talking to, I guess, a Web 2, Joe Schmo, and then someone in Web 3 who knows a little bit more, how would you explain, the platform's privacy protection from like unauthorized access? And then like, how would you, like, how is data encrypted and fragmented and distributed and all that kind of stuff for the people who perhaps are a little bit more savvy?
Yeah, well, most of this you got to keep in mind. So far, I've spent years looking through every blockchain storage protocol that's out there, looking for one that is truly decentralized, and I can't find one. Even Filecoin uses a Google bridge, and as soon as it touches the Google bridge, Google has a copy of the data, not some of it, all of it. They are obligated to under the Data Retention Act. So I've tried them all. I've tried Filecoin, I've tried Arweave, I've tried R, I've tried Iagon, basically everything that came out, and every single one of them has a major centralized component. That wouldn't work for us. Jackal has no centralized component. Jackal did something really clever with Jackal JS. So when you choose to upload a file, it's encrypted off your device. We're doing the same thing. We are doing the exact same thing. It is encrypted off from your device, put up to the Jackal protocol. Jackal JS finds a decentralized storage provider to put it on. They're random. The file is delivered. The storage protocol says, "Yes, I have the file. Here's the file ID. Chain ID gets locked. Oh, chain ID gets locked into the blockchain, and the validators verify that this thing is where it is. We all know how immutable blockchain is, and that's it." But Jackal takes it a step further, and this is what really worked for us. They built what's called a self-healing network. Now, this is absolutely imperative for us, for Sigea, to have this self-healing network because once Jackal has the file, we don't have it anymore. We are not in the data storage business. We are data brokers. We're just moving it from point A to point B. So with that, when there is a single copy on one of the decentralized storage providers, Jackal will make two additional copies of that file. Now, they don't know what it is. They have no idea what it is, but they will make two more mirrored copies of it, and they're going to drop it on two separate decentralized storage clusters. So at any time, there's always three. There are three copies of that file. In the event, you're familiar with blockchain. I mean, you're Atlas. I know you understand this.
Yes.
But in the event that one of these decentralized storage providers decides I'm done and pulls the plug, the network's going to poll. And when it polls and sees that there's now only two copies of a file that should have three copies, it's going to make another copy and it's going to drop it onto another decentralized storage protocol provider. So at every given time, there's going to be three of them. Now, that was absolutely necessary for us for Sigea because we cannot lose your data ever. And even if it's on Jackal, Jackal bricked it, something went wrong. If they're using our product, guess whose fault it is? Sigea. And we cannot have that. So we needed a very, very specific, purpose-built data storage protocol, decentralized, for us to do what we did. And yeah, Jackal. Jackal was the only ones who could do it. So we built on Jackal.
Nice. So I guess the validators on Jackal versus the validators on Akash are the ones who are actually storing the data.
The validators are putting down and documenting the file ID and the chain ID, but the validators do not store data. They
So
have
where
nothing to
where
do
is
with
the
data.
data actually stored? Or is it
Decentralized storage protocols,
bits and pieces
decentralized storage
everywhere?
providers. Yep, you could stand up a server right this moment.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of tough to wrap your head around that the data's not all together in one place and it's kind of everywhere all at once, I guess, and then
It,
gets put together.
no, that's Filecoin. Filecoin does it. Now,
So help me understand the difference.
when you hit Jackal, Jackal is going to take a clump of ones and zeros because that's all that they see. They're going to
Okay.
take the entirety of that file and they're going to randomly assign it to one of their decentralized storage providers. Doesn't matter which one. It could be Atlas One. You get the file. So Atlas One has to report back to the chain that I have the file. Once it's reported back to the chain that you have the file, it's the validator sets verifies that the file exists and that you have it. You have the entirety of that file. Now you can't see that file. It's encrypted, AES 256. I guess if you wanted to get real cute, you can crack it, but you're going to need quantum computers and an awful lot of money
So
to.
real quick, let me
Yes, sir.
interrupt real quick. A decentralized data provider, is that someone who's allowing their computer to run and they're contributing compute to the network like on Akash, or is it someone who has a spare PC in a data center or a dedicated PC? Like who's running the data storage machine, I guess is my question.
Could be anybody. We ourselves, we have about a petabyte that we're ready to turn on and move on to the network. So it could be anybody.
If you get jump onto the network, I assume you earn Jackal tokens.
Yep. As you
Gotcha.
store data. Yep. Now we have idling right now because there's not a lot of data going back and forth onto Jackal, but that's going to change real quick when when mobile and ease of use comes into play on this. So that's going to change really really fast. So at that time we flip on the providers. We're just providing it. We don't get whitelisted. It's not our data. We are just one of many data storage providers on the network. So we don't get any kind of preferential treatment. We're just kind of, shotgunning it. So we're putting them out a lot because then, math will start to play on our side and hopefully we start collecting more and more data. And yeah, that's what happens. Jackal pays us to host it for him.
For the average person, explain how a data breach or a ransomware attack on a centralized provider like iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox differs from using a decentralized provider and the risk as a user.
I'm not sure I'm the perfect one to explain that. Probably Marston of Jackal or Patrick of Jackal Protocol could certainly explain it a lot better. But Probably the big difference is one, you're going to have to hack the validator set. Now you're a
Possible,
validator.
right?
How
Yeah.
hard can you hack your validator set?
No, obviously you got to take control of at least half and sometimes two-thirds of all the tokens, and so it's
Mhm.
next to impossible if the tokens are worth anything for sure.
So all of the data itself, meaning the file IDs and the chain IDs, or the file ID, where it is and where it's stored, all of that is stored on the validator set. So you would have to crack open the validator set just to get those numbers and see which file is where. And then you're going to have to go after the next layer of security. That's whomever is standing up this decentralized storage provider. Then you got to hack their security so that you can get into a single file. And then once you get the file, now you have to decrypt it. And again, it's AES 256. Quantum computers can certainly do it, but it's not going to be cheap. So if you want to see my vacation pictures, I hope it's important to you because it's going to cost you. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that nothing is uncrackable, nothing is unhackable. We all know
Sure.
that's not true. But the effort that it would take to bust through this, to bust through a decentralized validator set, and then bust through all of these storage protocols, I you'd have to want it. You'd really, really have to want it. So, not going to say it's impossible. I'm going to say it's highly unlikely.
So how does the latency and the speed of the system compare to traditional cloud services?
Honestly, we're faster, and I mean, we're not even fast. A little bit faster. We're a lot faster. Uh, we once you the nifty thing about this, and it's really the sweet spot, is once the files are stored on the decentralized storage, I'm no longer dealing with Jackal. I'm dealing directly with the storage provider at that time. So we are, for all intents and purposes, peer to peer. So once it goes through Jackal, once it's documented, once it's on the validator set, they're done with it. The only people who can move or access that file are the person with the keys. That means the person with the wallet. So at that time, if I want it back, I want to pull my file back. I'm dealing directly with the decentralized provider. I'm not dealing with Jackal anymore. There's no point. Jackal can't tell me you can't have your data back. It doesn't work that way. That's my data. It's my custody. That'd be like them telling me I can't move my tokens. So once it's up there, it's for basically it's an encrypted peer-to-peer data transfer service at that time. I go straight up to the data to the storage protocol and I say, "Give me back my file," and the file starts coming back. We're averaging 7 or 8 seconds for about 550 megabyte files. It can tail out a little bit more on some of the gig and a half. It could go up to 60, 70 seconds, but that's still wildly faster than you're going to find anywhere else.
So do you know much? I don't know if you know. If I assume you're familiar with OmniFlix, but if
Yep.
someone is an OmniFlix user, how does Sigea compare and contrast, and why might they use one over the other?
That's actually kind of funny that you mentioned that. So, we're very friendly with OmniFlix. I like Sisla and RJ. We actually broadcast Saturday nights. We actually broadcast MST3K style really bad horror movies up there. And we were the first to live stream over there because we got the studio, man. We might as well put it to use, and I want to support decentralization. Uh, but we're actually in the works right now. We're finalizing it up with OmniFlix, so we're going to do the what nobody's been able to do on this yet. Uh, any video or anything that you do happen to have through Sigea, when you hit the three little dots to say what you want to do with that file, one of those is going to say upload to OmniFlix. So we're working out. We're kind of working around a more traditional interface so that you don't have to go through wallets or sign transactions and all that. You can simply upload videos. And when that does go live in Sigea, let's call it 2.0. It's not going to be in the initial release, but that's our new big thing. Is if you shoot a video with your phone, upload it to use Sigea. In fact, shoot the video through Sigea, and that'll never ever touch your phone. Upload it straight to OmniFlix, just like that. One click,
Oh, so
one
they can
button,
open
and
up the
it's
Sigea app and just record straight through
yep,
to the chain.
yep, that is correct.
Nice. So let's say I'm streaming Vimeo videos on a website. How would I then switch from Vimeo? Like, what is the UI? How do I connect something from your service or decentralized storage or OmniFlix or whatever to my WordPress website so that I can stream video that I'm storing decentralized on chain?
There's a couple different ways. The easiest, probably for everybody out here, the absolute easiest is that using any feature that Jackal has, Sigea has. And that's great because I didn't have to pay to develop them. It's just command line interface for us. So one of the best things that they have up there is a video sharing feature or a file sharing feature. And we'll demonstrate that to you. But you can create a public link with it. So with even through Sigea, create the public link. It's going to give you a link. All you would have to do over there is embed that link anywhere, and it's when anybody who clicks play, the video is going to play. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter who. You can post it on X, you can post it on you. It doesn't matter. You post it. Anybody who can click a link, it will send that link, or that link will play the video.
Right. I love it. And so, how is the average person going to pay for Sigea?
We're taking, well, I mean, we're going to start with, we'll take credit card. Again, we're pushing into Web 2, and we don't want to confuse things. Obviously, I prefer that you pay with crypto. And Astrovault, that's actually them right there behind us on that little sign. They're building us a bespoke payment system. So we're going to be outsourcing the payments. I don't want any of your information. I don't want to know who you are, what you are, where you are. I don't want to know any of that. So when that goes live with Astrovault, we're basically third party in the payment system. So Astrovault will take anything. They'll take crypto, they'll take Stripe, they'll take credit cards. It really doesn't matter. Now, what has to happen here is two things have to happen when that money hits Astrovault's pay system. It's going to have to be converted into both a cache and Jackal. A cache so that I can continue to pay for my cache servers, and Jackal because that's how we pay for the storage. So Astrovault gets a little big on all that for the work that they're doing up there, but we are actually putting buy pressure on these tokens. Every single customer we get is putting buy pressure, organic buy pressure on these tokens. And the nifty part is that it's going to be Web 2 people, and they're going to have no idea they're doing it. The only thing
Right.
they know is that they paid $2 for 50 gigabytes. That's all they know. But they don't know that they just bought Jackal. They don't know that they just bought a cache. They don't know that they just bought AXV. They have no idea that this happened. And that's why we don't explain the black back end. I'll talk about it to Web3 people. I won't even mention it to Web
Well, I
2
mean, it's going to be
people
mostly
up there.
Web3 people who are watching this. And so, and if I do, I remember right, is Astro Vault, is that on Neutron or is that on Jackal or somewhere else?
Now, Astrovault actually started on Archway, but they're also on Neutron and they're also on Nibiru. They're an app. I like to deal with apps. I don't really like to. I'll integrate an L1 if they're providing a service I can use. But other than that, I like to deal with apps. Apps are just cheaper. So, yes, Astrovault is an app and they're on Archway, they're on Nibiru, and they are on
Gotcha.
Neutron. Yep.
Let them worry about the integrations, I guess.
That's up to them, man. I don't care.
Yeah, totally. So how does the okay, so can a Web2 person sign up like they would on a typical Web2 service with their Gmail or their Facebook or their email address or whatever?
Yep.
And then what it creates a wallet for them and then encrypts the private keys in their browser or on their machine. Is that how it works?
All of that is correct. Yep. And a wallet has to be created because we have to have an individual wallet because we're feeding into S3 buckets right now. So has to be assigned. That user has to have a wallet on as part of their account. So nice and easy. I mean, all we did was fork Leap. I'm sorry, fork Kepler. No, we fork Leap. So it's the same. They're interchangeable. So all we did was fork it. As soon as you sign up, we generate a wallet on your behalf. We can't see the seed phrase the same way
Sure.
Leap can't see your seed phrase. And yeah, that's it. So you have the
So
wallet. We have a Jackal interface wallet, and there you go.
I've been in Web3 long enough that I know how to custody private keys and
Mhm,
make sure there's paper copies and all that kind of stuff. And I have yet to open a wallet or an account somewhere using my email address.
mhm.
And so is the user no longer responsible for custodying those private keys because it's the email address itself that is needed to unlock the encryption on the key? I mean, I guess can you
We
help
get
me understand?
we give them the option,
Okay.
just like
And
that. We give them the option, but we're assuming, and I think it's safe to assume that most of Web 2 won't care.
Yeah, no, I think that that's probably true. So if my computer crashes, I can get a new computer, just open Sigea back up, and with my email address, the keys are back good to go, or how does that work?
Exactly that.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
account
it's
it's account based. We had to make it account based so that we could sync across all devices. So Sigia is also available on desktop. The link's right in there. That's our testing link right now. The When we roll live, it'll all go to
so the
sigiacloud.io.
testing link is what I got on the screen right now.
I can't see it.
It says
Sigia-io. Yep.
Sigia-io.
Anybody who goes there right now, hit the connect button in the upper right, knock yourself out.
And so when does the test app transition over to the live final product?
As soon as I decide it's ready.
Okay.
Sorry, I got it on my phone right now, brother. Look, Web3 plays very, very fast and very, very loose when it comes to retail because a lot of these guys got really big raises. Money is not that important to them, doesn't really matter. We're completely bootstrapped. This is all my money. I can't afford to lose a single customer when we launch. So I have to make sure that it is as perfect as I could possibly get it. We could
So
have
is
pushed
there
this out 2 months ago. It'd have been bug ridden. All we would have did was hear about it. We'd have lost consumer after consumer after consumer, and we just can't do it.
is there an added benefit for the early adopters who are helping to I guess kind of test out the platform?
Yeah, my testers, they'll never pay for storage. I can't pay them cash because I'm
Sure.
broke and all the money went into development. I can't give them cash, but I will. They'll never pay for data storage with us. It's my dime forever. So
So
yeah.
for people who are looking at that web app on the screen right now, and if they get involved, they don't need to worry about I guess they don't need to worry about payment in the future.
It's more or less our alpha testers, and we still got room. We could fit a few more in. So if anybody's interested and wants to alpha test for us, I will need your Apple ID, Scott at thepodcast.com. That's it. Everybody wants iOS, and when you're going for iOS, you got to play by their rules, babe. And their rules are Apple ID. If we want to push this app onto iOS phones in the testing phase, and I need your Apple ID.
Okay. And then how does the pricing model compare to iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox or et cetera?
We're more expensive, but we're more expensive because we can't harvest and sell your data. Look, I've been building these data centers for 25 years. I know exactly what a terabyte of hot storage costs. And it's anywhere from 120 to $160 per terabyte. But for some reason, Apple, Amazon, everybody can sell this stuff out for about $22, $23. How is that possible? When the physical cost to do it is approximately $154 per terabyte, including bandwidth. How can they sell it for $22? They sell it for $22 by harvesting and selling your data, period. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. So we can't do that. So we're going to be a little bit more expensive. Now we have an advantage. Sigia has a huge advantage in the fact that we're resellers. That's all we are doing is reselling Jackal's efforts. So most of the cost onus is on the protocol itself. It's on Jackal. So all we're doing, because we're pushing consumers over that direction, is we have to knock it up a little bit. We have to be profitable. I can't give it away. So because of that, we have to knock it up a little bit, and yeah, so we make a profit. Jackal makes a profit. Customer gets a good service, and there you go. On the outset, we're going to be approximately $1.99 for 50 gigabytes. Now I know iCloud is cheaper. I know AWS is cheaper. I know everybody can do better, but they can't guarantee your privacy, and I can. So we're not sure. We're not going to appeal to the mass world, but there are riches in the niches. And if 5% of, let's just pretend 5% of the population actually cares about privacy, that's 1 out of 5 out of every 100 people actually want to secure their data. It's a massive market that we can tap into. Massive.
What happens
That's our
as a
plan.
user? What happens as a user if this Sigia project fails? Then how does the user? What's the front end that they use to access their data at that point?
If it fails, obviously, we'll have months and months of warning. We'll know. I can look at a roadmap. So, or I can look at a runway and say, okay, we're going to bomb off at this point. We either get a raise to keep it going or we have to shut it down. At that point, we'll give our users ample warning. If this is the only copy of this, you need to take it back. So I would say a good 90 days to go ahead and pull your data back at our speeds. That's more than enough time. But yeah, we know how to warn everybody basically. That's it. That's all I can do. I Because we can't move the data. You have to understand that we cannot move it on your behalf. There's nothing we can do.
Is there
So,
not like a different front end operator that someone could connect to their
oh
existing
yeah,
data on chain?
yeah, you can go to vault.jackalprotocol.com and just do it through their front end.
I guess that's what I
Mhm.
wanted to know. Okay. So what does the onboarding process look like for new users? Like, what's the simplest way for me to move all of my photos from Google Drive?
Well, we have two different features. One, you're going to have to, we cannot interface with Google. No part of this app will ever touch any part of Google. And I'm sure you understand why, because as soon as
I
we
do.
do, we're bridged and we're exposed. So it's going to be up to the user to pull back their data from Google and then push it up to Sigea. But you got to remember, once it's on Google, it's never off Google. You can tell it to delete. It doesn't matter. It's still there. The Data Retention Act requires them to maintain this data for 5 to 7 years. You know what the meta layer is? Have you heard that term before?
No.
That's all the data that exists is sitting down there on the searchable meta layer. So, I mean, it's compressed, it's Arctic, it's as cold storage as you can get, but it's still
It's
accessible.
there.
Yeah.
Right. So if they need to
And
access it and find something out, there is a way.
sure. And that's why you hear people with all their text messages, emails, judge issues a subpoena, and these companies just turn them straight over. Can't do that with us because one, we don't know who you are, and two, we don't know where your data is, and three, we can't touch it. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference between us and Google and all the other big cloud.
Nice. I love it. So where does the name Sigea come from?
We started out as Aegis because I thought it was cool. Back when I was in the Navy, I was riding the very, very early Aegis cruisers, and I always liked the word
Ah,
AEGI, Aegis. And but when we went to register it, because we registered as a C Corp, Sigea Cloud Labs, but when we went to register it, there were like 500 different Sigeas or I'm sorry, Aegises. And it would not be worth our time to try to lawyer up to secure a name that 500 other people own. So we just went with Sigea, and we're the only ones. So all it is Aegis spelled backwards.
love it. So how does Sigea and I would say the system, how do you guys scale as more users are added?
Money, money, money. I mean, that's it. That's where it's going to come down to. Now, we went with a cache, but even with that, we cannot keep all of our servers on a cache. So we'll probably be standing some up on render and so forth. We have it's kind of a little bit of a cost issue, and it'll always be because we are using decentralized everything. We have to have redundancy in our servers. We can never go down. Not
Right.
even for a minute can we deny people access to their data. So for every server that we spin up on a cache, we have to set up a redundant server. We got to have to make sure that they're monitoring each other. So in case this one has, the guy decides to pull the plug, next server spins right up. So we're kind of doing self healing servers or self healing server cluster because again we cannot have downtime ever.
And
So
so if I remember
with
right, renders on Solana, is that right?
yeah, I believe so.
And so would Astro Vault, and it doesn't matter as the Web2 user doesn't care, but is as at that point, does Astro Vault use the fee from the user just to acquire Solana tokens? And then, that's how the failover is paid for?
Well, it'll probably be they'll be using it to acquire render tokens because that's what we have to use to pay for their providers. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
it'll be the same thing. And as far as making the transfers, man, look, all the bridges are built now. It's not hard and easily automated. So, yep, that's why we went with Astrovault. These guys are aces.
Yeah, no, I love seeing that you're bringing an app to market. Like you said, the bridges are built out. I think infrastructure is there. I think we
Hmm.
don't need more blockchains, and I think we don't need more infra. We need apps that are going to bring users. And so that's one of the things that really interested me about Sigia and why I was excited to chat with you today, because I think it's super important to produce something people are going to use, and it's got to be something other than just swapping cryptos trying to make money.
Well, it's kind of funny because, all of Twitter is always aglow. How do we onboard users? How do we onboard users? Hey, right here. Every single consumer that we get, Web2 consumer that we get using this app, we just onboarded them to crypto, just like that. They're buying tokens, they are receiving a service for it, they are paying us cash. So all that money that people want pouring into the market's going to come right through here. Uh, I know it's not the degen approach, and it's not really what they want. We want more and more people to come over here and pump our bags. Uh, that's gone, man. Those days are done. All right, it's the next thing. And yeah, I hope that we're leading the charge here on the next thing. It's tough, man. Look, apps are tough. You'll never get funding for them because we can't sell hope. We can't sell 3 years from now this is going to be real cool. We have to have users. We have to have retention. We have to have profit margins. We have to have product market fit. We have to have all of these things. So that means that we have to have it built, have it monetized, and have it out in the world before we could ever even get anybody to talk to us about a raise. And by the time we get to that point with our profit margin, by the time we get to that point, let's pretend we did really well and we have 25,000 daily active users, which would be massive for any kind of Web3 app. That is not a wallet or is not a DEX, but an actual product app with that kind of users, they'd be beating down our doors. But by the time that came around, I wouldn't need them. It's like, what are you going to do for me, man? That's it. Are you going to get us 100,000 consumers? No. Well, got no time for you, man. Appreciate it though.
I come from traditional finance, and so my mind goes to when you have 25,000 daily active users, you're going to have a treasury, right? And so, would the Sigia treasury be buying AKT tokens and JKL tokens to hang on to, or how do you
Uh,
envision that looking?
yeah, very, very likely. Treasury management is going to be absolute. And I apologize. My dog is
I
barking.
can hear it.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
This is so unprofessional, but I'm
My
sorry.
cat is actually pulling at the door. It's all good.
Harvey, no, be a good boy. He's
And
my
I had a dog named
he's
Harvey.
He's my studio buddy. Yeah, treasury management is absolutely critical to us. So we have to pay a lot of people. There's two people that are not getting a paycheck, and that's me and my co-founder Bell. So we don't anticipate us taking a dollar out of this for at least 2 to 3 years. I mean, everybody's in the business here, man. You got to have runway. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, we will, if we hit that magic number, that's 25,000 daily active users. Odds are good that I will be completely flat broke by then because I have to put everything out of pocket. That's the scaling, that's the marketing, that's the everything. So odds are good that we will have to do a raise at that point. And the purpose of the raise is more servers, more employees, more being able to service our customers. That's the right way. That's the right time to do a raise. That's the proper way to do a raise. So we will likely launch a token, and but I can't launch a token until I know exactly how much I have to raise from it and exactly how I'm going to pay it back. Uh, a token. The purpose of a token is to borrow from the future to finance the present. Just like anybody else who would go to a bank to borrow, capital investment so that we can scale or whatever. Tokens are the same thing. So with that, I have to be assured that I can pay all that money back with interest. That means we have to start directing revenue from the app into buying back our own token because we borrowed money from everybody. That's what we're doing. We are borrowing money from everybody. Have to be able to pay it back. Period. That's it. And if we can't, or it doesn't look like we can, we simply will not launch a token. I'll go through traditional means, borrow from a bank or hook up with some seedy, venture capitalist that'll take 30% of my app. But yeah, that's probably what I have to shut this door, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ask the next question.
Guess I would say, we're kind of winding down, so it's okay. But how do you see the future of decentralized storage evolving, and what are the main challenges that you see in front of you, and standing between Sigia and mainstream adoption?
Well, we're fortunate that I do have a couple of contacts that I've been friendly with ever since from my military days, and several of them have become very successful. One of them has become ultra successful. This guy is the meanest son of a bitch you ever wanted to. He's the brokest billionaire I've ever met in my life. He always has it. Oh, I ain't got anything. I'm broke. I'm like, billions of dollars. But yeah, it's kind of funny. But uh, I'm gonna be taking advantage of these contacts because even though we are a consumer app, obviously we would prefer to go enterprise. Enterprise is a lot less talky. We
Yes,
this is
sure.
what we can do. This is what we'll charge you. Here's our service level agreement, and on to glory. But with these contacts, are probably going to will probably spur us nice and early to that 25,000 daily active user number that we're looking for. And once we're there, uh, this gets easier. Nobody wants to be the first. It's like app, and the first person into the wall always gets very, very bloody, and we're going to be the first people into the wall. So yes, I've already had my nose bloodied. I've already spent hours and hours and hours on video and chats, talking to the yeah but people. And yeah, I don't have time for that anymore. Here's our app. You want to use it, use it. You don't. I can't spend all my time convincing one person, but it's going to give a nice spur to us and get us out the door. And once we get to that point, uh, yeah, then a raise is easy. Everything else is easy, and then we really really start hitting getting that critical mass type of thing. But that's actually going to be interesting because then we get to find out what Jackal's, how their scalability is. How is Akash's scalability? How is, Render's scalability? Because if we start hitting them with that much business real quick, they're going to have to step up too. It's good for all of us, man. It's
Sure.
just good for all of us.
No, I love, yeah, I love it. So I've got the URL up on the screen for people who want to give the app a test spin. And then I guess as we wrap up, will you please reiterate how someone might become an alpha tester, and then tell us how someone might learn more about Sigia if they're on the fence and can't decide whether or not to give it a shot?
I'll tell you what, if they really want to know, we'll be live tonight, 1800. It's going to be another Siggia stream. I've spent 6, 7 years out here in this space talking about everybody else's products, and now I'm going to talk about my product.
You gotta
Yeah,
love it.
there you go. So yeah, if you want to know more, we're going to be live tonight. Tune in, ask questions, man. We like to talk with our audience, not at our audience. So
Same.
please ask questions. And if you want to be an alpha tester, Scott at thepodcast.com. Send me your Apple ID. That's all I need is your Apple ID. I can get you entered. We have room for maybe 3 or 4 more. And we figure that's enough to stress test it and get it out the door. So, yeah, I do got
Awesome.
room for a few more testers if people want to come on and try.
Very cool. Well, Scott, I appreciate your time. I super enjoyed our conversation and having you on, and I would encourage anyone to check you out, follow you on X and on YouTube and other social platforms. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I look forward to staying connected.
Yeah, man. I appreciate your time.
All right, buddy. Take care.